So let me tell you about this dude, Leo. Picture this. Grand Central, New York City. Absolute madhouse, right? Trains zipping in and out, people rushing everywhere like their hair's on fire. And Leo? Man, Leo was down on his luck big time. Looked like he slept in his clothes, which, he probably did. His gig was cruising the train cars, holding out this beat-up paper cup, hoping for a few dimes. Spare change, folks. That was his soundtrack. Most people, they just looked right through him, like he was part of the station grime. Sucks, right? Makes you feel like a ghost. So, one day Leo's doing his usual shuffle, and he spots this cat. Sharp suit, shiny shoes, briefcase looking like it cost a fortune. Total Wall Street hotshot.
Leo thinks, alright, this guy's gotta have some cash to burn. Bingo. He moseys on over, cup out. Hey mister, little something for a guy trying to get by.
The businessman, let's call him Mr. Sterling, cause he looked like he dealt in it, barely gives Leo the time of day. He's got this whole I'm too busy for this vibe. Instead of dropping a buck, he stops, gives Leo the once-over and says, real blunt, you're always asking, ain't ya? You ever give anything back? Leo's thrown. Give? Bro, look at me, I'm panhandling here. What in the world could I give anybody? I'm just trying to make it to tomorrow. But Sterling, he's not having it. Look, kid, he says, not mean, just straight up. If you ain't offering nothing, you got no real business asking. That's how the world spins, a two-way street. I'm a businessman. It's all about the exchange, value for value. You got something for me, then maybe, just maybe I'll have something for you. And bam, he's on his train, doors hiss shut, and he's out of there. Leo's just standing there, cup still empty, head totally messed up by what Sterling just laid on him. Man, those words, they stuck to Leo like gum on a shoe. Give to get. He couldn't shake it. He's thinking, what's this dude even talking about? I got nothing. Zill. For a couple of days, he's just mopping, feeling even lower than a snake's belly in a wagon rut. Sterling's voice is just playing on a loop. What can a beggar give? He's totally lost, man. Then Thursday hits. Leo's just sitting by the tracks, watching the city blur by, and his eyes land on this little patch of, like wildflowers, just popping up through a crack near some old boarded-up flower stall. Nobody's paying them any mind, but they're kinda cheerful, a little splash of color in all that gray. And then, bam, light bulb moment. For real. He thinks, flowers, they're pretty, don't cost me a dime. Maybe that's my something. Sounds crazy, even to him. But Sterling's words are still ringing in his ears. So, real hesitant, Leo plucks a few of the brighter ones. Nothing fancy, just simple little things. He heads back into the train, starts his usual spiel. But this time, it's different. A lady drops a couple of quarters into his cup, and Leo, he takes a deep breath, holds out a small, colorful flower and says, "Here, ma'am, for your kindness." The lady, she stops, actually looks at him, and she smiles. A real, genuine smile. "Oh," she says, that's lovely. Thank you." Leo felt something shift inside him, a little spark. Hadn't felt that in years. So that became his new hustle. He'd gather a small bunch of these overlooked flowers. Whenever someone gave him some change, he'd offer them a flower. Some people were surprised, some just took it. A few even gave him a little extra. But the cool thing, more people were giving. And they were looking at him, not through him. He started noticing a pattern. When he had flowers to give, his cup filled up a bit quicker. When he ran out of flowers, the change trickled in slower. He thought, maybe that Sterling dude wasn't just blowing hot air. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It was like for a tiny second he was part of an exchange, not just a taker. Fast forward a few weeks, Leo's still at it. He's got a bit more pep in his step. One afternoon, who does he see getting on the train? You guessed it, Mr. Sterling. This time, Leo doesn't just shuffle up. He walks over with a little more purpose. He holds out his cup, but also clutched in his other hand is a small, neat bunch of the cheeriest flowers he could find that morning. "Afternoon, sir," Leo says. "Hoping you can spare a little something today. And, I've got these for you if you'd like. Fresh picked." Mr. Sterling stops. He looks at Leo. Really looks. Then he looks at the flowers. And for the first time, Leo sees a flicker of something other than "get out of my way" in the businessman's eyes. Maybe respect. Sterling actually chuckles, a short, surprised sound. "Well, I'll be," he says, reaching into his pocket. He pulls out a $5 bill, way more than Leo usually gets. "You actually did it. You took my advice." He takes the flowers. "You're not just a beggar anymore, are you? You're a businessman, kid. Small time, maybe. But you're in the game. A businessman." Leo, that word, man. It just flipped a switch in Leo's head. He watched Sterling walk down the aisle, and something clicked. A real fundamental shift. That night, Leo didn't just go back to his usual spot. He sat there thinking. A businessman, he looked at the few bucks he'd made. More than usual. He's right. I am giving something. People are buying these flowers, in a way. The next day, Leo didn't just pick a few flowers. He picked as many as he could carry. Even used some of his extra change to buy a cheap roll of string to tie them into nicer little bunches. And after that day, Leo, as a beggar, poof, vanished from the station. Cut to 6 months later. Same station, same train. But this time, there's a guy sitting in a clean, though not fancy seat.
He's got a well-worn but decent jacket on, his hair's combed, and he's looking out the window with a thoughtful expression. He's carrying a neat, professional-looking sample case. Yep, it's Leo. He glances up, and who's sitting across the aisle tapping away on a laptop? Mr. Sterling. Leo waits for a moment, then leans over. "Mr. Sterling? Excuse me." Sterling looks up, a little annoyed. "Yes?" Clearly doesn't recognize him. Leo smiles, a real, confident smile now. You probably don't remember me. But about 6 months ago, you gave some advice to a panhandler on this very train. Told him he needed to give something to get something." Sterling squints, then his eyes widen a fraction. You're not... "Yeah," Leo says. "That was me, Leo. And you also told me I was a businessman." He gestures to his sample case. "Turns out, you were spot on. I'm in the flower business now. Wholesale, mostly. Got a couple of small florists I supply. Heading upstate to check out a new grower." Sterling is like, totally floored. Absolutely stunned. He closes his laptop. "Get out of here. You're serious?" "Dead serious," Leo says. "Your words, sir, they planted a seed. No joke. Started with those little station wildflowers. Figured if people liked them for free with a little change, maybe they'd actually buy them if they were a bit nicer. Took a while, a lot of hustle, but here I am." He continues, "You know, it wasn't just about making money. It was about feeling like I had something to offer, that I wasn't just invisible. You told me I was a businessman, and I started believing it. And once I believed it, well, I started acting like it." The two men talked for the rest of the journey. Sterling, for all his initial gruffness, was genuinely impressed, even a little humbled. He even gave Leo a couple of contacts. When they got to their stop, they shook hands, this time as equals. And that's the story, man. Leo, the station beggar, became Leo, the flower entrepreneur, all because one guy, instead of just shooing him away or dropping a pity quarter, gave him a piece of tough love advice that actually meant something. He taught him the oldest rule in the book. You want to get, you gotta give. And more importantly, he made Leo see himself not as what he was, but what he could be. It just goes to show, you know? Sometimes, it's not about how much you got in your pocket, but what you got in your head, and the guts to change your own story. Your whole life can flip if you just change how you see yourself and what you're willing to put out into the world. Pretty killer, right?